Welcome. You're listening to Ask the Doulas, a podcast where we talk to experts from all over the country about topics related to pregnancy, birth, postpartum, and early parenting. Let's chat.
Hello, this is Kristin Revere with Ask the Doulas, and I am thrilled to chat with Genevieve Mena. Genevieve is the co-founder and CEO of Mamieli. And Mamieli has two different platforms, but it's a platform supporting moms in postpartum and beyond. And Mamieli also launched a topic-based bundle for new moms curated with top brands and expert service providers. And just this spring launched the first marketplace to help moms find affordable, vetted home cooking support in postpartum and beyond. In building Mamieli, Genevieve has been inspired by her personal experience becoming a mom while drawing on her prior professional experience supporting entrepreneurs through initiatives led by Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan. She has an undergraduate degree from Dartmouth College and an MBA from Wharton and lives in New York City with her husband and two young girls. Welcome, Genevieve.
Thanks so much, Kristin. So excited to be here.
I am thrilled to chat with you about, the importance of nourishing ourselves postpartum. And because not only do you have these amazing pregnancy and postpartum bundles, but you also now have this service so you can find the right type of cooking for even allergies or other concerns that you might have that may not work for some of the friends who want to be helpful and bring you a meal, and those meal train services that are helpful. But again, if you have allergies or any dietary concerns, it can be challenging to accept friends' food or, even gift cards if that restaurant doesn't work for your needs.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So that's right. So Mamieli is it's a resource for moms in postpartum and beyond. And really our goal is to provide moms and families with really tangible, practical support. So as you said, last year we launched these really beautifully curated bundles for moms after the baby comes for these key topics. There's so many little things you need, so many questions you have, and they're constantly changing from one topic and stage to the next. And so from postpartum recovery to breastfeeding, baby health questions, traveling with baby, introducing solids, etc. And so we curated these beautiful bundles with the top products from really great brands and did that with expert service providers in each topic area. Then to this platform that you're speaking about. So we actually just launched about a month ago, this new resource for moms. And we're starting in New York. And it's a resource for moms to find vetted, affordable local home cooks to support with meals during postpartum especially, but really anytime along the journey of being a busy mom, transitioning back to work or just juggling everything. And so we're really excited about this and starting here in New York, but then expanding beyond.
It is so needed. And there may be some of those local or, the national pre-made meals, but the fact that you can get home-cooked meals customized to your needs and your stage from, local cooks, that is a fantastic option. And certainly in New York, I'm sure it's much needed.
Yeah, well, like many, I think, ideas and businesses in this space, it was kind of inspired initially from my own experience and my husband's experience having our first daughter. And postpartum was actually a pretty good experience overall for us. We were excited with our baby. I think the biggest kind of day in and day out pain point that we had was around meals. And I'm someone who loves to cook. But when you have a newborn, you barely have time to eat, let alone cook.
And you're feeding your baby, no matter how you choose to feed, that consumes so much time.
Exactly, so much time. And so we're just kind of like piecing it together with DoorDash or takeout, or we tried some of the meal kits that come in those, little plastic containers. And really none of that is what we wanted to be eating for each meal. What we really want is home cooked meals. But like many, especially in New York, many new parents don't have family nearby to come cook for weeks on end. And especially when it's your first, you don't necessarily have a community to organize a meal train for you. And so you're kind of left piecing it together. And we just wanted home cooked meals and couldn't really accomplish that. So we were focused on the baby and on just learning how to be new parents. But it did dawn on me, especially when we were about to have our second daughter. Now we're not just feeding ourselves. Now we're feeding our toddler too. And so we really needed to find a better solution for this. And it dawned on me that there are incredible cooks all over the city, and probably someone right around the block from you who's a phenomenal cook that would love to come and help you while earning a bit of extra income on the side. And so, long story short, we built this platform to bring them to one spot to make it easier for moms and dads to find that kind of local support. And we vet them, and it's a rigorous vetting process to make sure that it's safe, and everybody is a really incredible cook that can adapt to whatever needs your family has. And you mentioned allergies, for example. Some of the families that are booking through our platform, one of their kids has allergies, or there are certain kind of nutritional goals that the mom has or the dad has, or nutrition for postpartum recovery or breastfeeding or whatever it might be. Since you're hiring someone come and cook just for your family, they can tailor it to whatever your needs are. So that's one of I think the beauties of this is not only healthy and delicious, but also whatever needs or goals your family has.
Yes. And as postpartum doulas, we do some light meal preparation. We certainly don't make full meals for our clients, but we often find that clients will have a particular postpartum recipe book that they would like us to follow, like say the first 40 days. Does that come into play, or is it more of what the chef would like to make for a family?
Well, so no, that absolutely comes into play. And actually, postpartum doulas were a big inspiration for as we were kind of organizing how to build this. We spoke with a number of doulas here in New York, and many of them love the idea because they see this as a big pain point with moms that they're working with in those early days. And they do like cooking support, but so in some cases, the family needs even more cooking support beyond that. But also some doulas even realize that they like that aspect of the work so much that they wanted to lean into it even more. And in addition to their postpartum doula work, also take on some clients focusing specifically on cooking and postpartum nutrition and developing meal plans for new families. And so the way it works is the family, and usually it is the mom, puts in a request for a local home chef. And you can browse through profiles of all the different chefs on the platform, because every family is different and every tastes are different and your budgets are different. And so each home cook sets their own price point, and they have their own kind of style or background. Some are doulas, some are not, some are professionally trained, some are just really amazing self-taught cooks. And so you can browse through these different profiles and then book whoever is the best fit for you, or whoever you think resonates most with your family's needs. And so maybe that is more of a focus on the first 40 days and somebody that has a really great repertoire of meals and experience around postpartum specifically. Or maybe it's somebody who has more of a Latin bent to their cooking because they're from the Dominican Republic, and that's what your family, especially in a diverse city like New York, to be able to find somebody with a cooking style that matches what you're looking for. And then you share your family's, just who's in your household, who will be eating these meals, what dietary restrictions you might have, if you're breastfeeding or recovering, or if you're pregnant, and what your family likes and doesn't like. And then from there, whoever you book will put together some meal options for you. And so typically families book between 3 and 4 meals at a time. So 3 or 4 dinners, for example, that then you can reheat over the busy next few days. Sure. And so they'll put together meal options that you can choose from, and you can tweak it as much as you'd like. And they share, all the ingredients that go along with each of those meals, so you know exactly what's in it. And then either you can do the shopping, or in most cases actually, whoever's cooking, the home chef does the shopping for you, just to take the whole load off of you. And so it outsources the mental load, which is a huge part of this, as well as the shopping and the cooking and the cleaning up afterwards, because it's that whole process, that it's not just the cooking, it's everything around it, day in and day out, that is a lot of work for parents. And so finding somebody who can help you with this is a game changer. It's what we've been hearing from clients, that term, it's a game changer for my mental health and our family's health.
Yes.
So we're really excited about this.
And it's so important in recovery to have healthy meals and for breastfeeding moms and pumping moms to be able to nourish themselves properly. Mm-hmm. And if you're so focused on caregiving, if there are other kids that need to be fed, to have the healthy home cooked meals is going to make recovery so much better. You're going to sleep better. I find as a postpartum doula that sometimes, unless we're making snacks or telling our clients to drink water or eat, they're forgetting to eat and nourish themselves.
Yeah, you do. You forget. You're focused on a million and one things, and you can forget to eat. It happened to me. And then when you kind of do remember, you're so hungry that you remember, you just kind of grab whatever's there and probably holding your baby while you're eating or
exactly.
Maybe even nursing. And so, yeah, it's a struggle. And even now that you're mentioning this, I'm grabbing my water. You just reminded me to take a sip of my water. It's true, though. You need to be reminded.
Exactly. So Genevieve, how did the topic-based bundles come about? It's lovely because you can follow your clients across the journey. So everything from the pregnancy bundles to feeding, as you had mentioned, postpartum recovery. And I'm so curious about what led you to solve some of the problems of really understanding, the curation and thoughtfulness you put not only into the chef matching platform that you have, but also in making families, in fact, their lives easier with some of these customized bundles that you've created.
Yeah, so we actually started with the bundles, and then the resource of the home cooking kind of grew out of what we saw as one of the big pain points for moms in postpartum, among many, but one being an ongoing one around meals. So the inspiration for these bundles was, again, from my personal experience first, after having our first daughter, I think what struck me was how scattered this whole kind of parenting world is. I was, I guess, somewhat surprised I knew there were so many things you need to buy and research for your registry ahead of time. And even that process is kind of overwhelming. But then even after the baby comes, there's so many little things that you need and all these questions that you have at the same time. And as I said before, these are constantly changing from one kind of topic and stage to the next. And so you're focused on postpartum recovery in those early days and figuring out breastfeeding or formula feeding and questions around baby health and introducing solids. Then the next thing you know, your baby's ready to start solids. And for each of these, right, you're researching like all these little things that you need. You didn't maybe think about ahead of time or plan for when you're making your registry, but then also all these questions that you have as you kind of encounter these different stages and topics. And so we decided to, and I say we actually started this alongside my brother who lives in New York as well. And we've kind of launched this platform together. And so we decided to curate these beautiful bundles for each of these different topics with only the essential items from the best brands in each category. And we curated them based on what other moms are loving the most. I can talk more about the curation if that's interesting.
And yes, then, I'm fascinated by how you vet and decide who to include in the bundle.
Hey, Alyssa here. I'm just popping in to tell you about our course called Becoming. Becoming a Mother is your guide to a confident pregnancy and birth, all in a convenient 6-week online program. From birth plans to sleep training and everything in between, you'll gain the confidence and skills you need for a smooth transition to motherhood. You'll get live coaching calls with Kristin and myself, a bunch of expert videos, including chiropractic care, pelvic floor physical therapy, mental health experts, breastfeeding, and much more. You'll also get a private Facebook community with other mothers going through this at the same time as you to offer support and encouragement when you need it most. And then, of course, you'll also have direct email access to me and Kristin, in addition to the live coaching calls. If you'd like to learn more about the course, you can email us at info@goldcoastdoulas.com or check it out at thebecomingcourse.com. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, so first we kind of curate what different items even go into each of these bundles. So what are the items that most moms actually use for that topic area? So postpartum recovery, like there's a vaginal and a C-section version, and what do moms actually use And then we vetted each of those bundles alongside experts in that topic. So for the recovery bundle, we worked with OBGYNs, and for breastfeeding, lactation consultants and pediatricians for the baby health, and feeding therapists for introducing solids, et cetera. And so these different experts helped us to kind of say, yes, those are the types of items that we would recommend moms use and that moms actually do use, because we didn't want to fill these bundles with things that are just going to clutter up your space and you're never going to use. And then from there to determine which brand for each of those items, or like which specific type of postpartum underwear to
Right.
just, off the top of my head, triangulated across several different platforms, most commonly registered for items and highest reviewed items across Babylist, Target, Bye Bye Baby at the time, Amazon, and brands' own websites to see, what are moms really loving the most. And then
Amazing.
We partnered with those brands to include them in the bundles. And so we want to be the best of the best, not based on affiliate links or sponsorships or anything like that, so that you can really trust that what's in here is truly wonderful. And then the last piece of it is each of those experts that I mentioned that helped us to vet the bundles also contribute a guidance book that comes in each bundle. So the recovery bundle has a guidance book that we created in partnership with OBGYNs that go through the most common questions they get asked around postpartum recovery. And there's cheat sheets to answer each of those questions. And same thing with all of the other bundles. And so it's really, bringing together top products with content that kind of cuts to the chase without being alarmist. Like there's a lot of content out there that kind of makes you scared or even more uncertain about what you're doing. And so we really wanted to frame this content around reassuring you and kind of cutting to the chase on really actionable tips that's vetted by experts and really helpful for moms for their navigating all of this.
And what a wonderful shower gift or postpartum gift to give a friend or family member.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And they're that was part of our thinking too, was sometimes on registries, how you'll register for the big things, a lot of the big things like the crib and the car seat, but then there's all these little things like the $10 nail clipper and the $12 thermometer and all these little things that as a gift giver, it doesn't feel, if you're just buying a couple little things one-off, it doesn't feel like a really nice cohesive gift. And so these bundles really make nice gifts. And we see a lot of moms registering for them, and then their friends are excited to give them. A fun fact actually is that the most commonly gifted bundle from like existing moms to new moms is the recovery bundle, which has like the least maybe appealing. It has the diapers and the pads and all those things. But the moms who have been through it know that those things are so helpful. And so it's a really popular gift. The baby health one is as well. And the travel one, they're all really wonderful gifts.
I love that you have a travel one.
Yeah, no, I love that's one of my favorites.
We're getting into travel season, so if you want to touch on that for a minute, I would love to hear more about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so when we were curating these and kind of developing the topics that we were going to create bundles around, we surveyed a couple hundred moms and asked about biggest pain points and what you use and didn't use, et cetera. And traveling with babies, being on the go with babies was one of the biggest pain points, which is not surprising to me. It's hard. It can be hard to travel with babies, especially the first couple times when you're just getting used to it. And there are kind of a lot of little things that can make traveling a lot easier. And so this kind of on-the-go travel kit is one of my favorites, and it's one of the most giftable ones as well, I think. So yeah, similar to the other bundles, we crowdsourced travel tips from moms who have traveled a lot with their babies and toddlers, to curate this bundle and create a guidance book that comes with it that goes through, it's around flying. For example, with flying, questions like, should I bring my baby as a lap infant or book them a seat? Do they need a boarding pass? What do I do about milk security? Like, what do I do with my car seat? How do I handle jet lag? All these questions around travel. So we have lots of cheat sheets in the guidance book on plane travel, long car rides, packing lists, etc. And then the items in it are so handy. I mean, my family travels a whole lot. My husband's from Mexico, and so we travel to Mexico a lot, as well as a bunch of other places. And we use everything in here all the time. So they really comes in handy and just takes a load off of, again, that mental load of planning and packing and remembering to bring things. So we love it. It's really, really comes in handy on trips, but also even just traveling on the go around the city, on day trips and things like that.
Right. It could be by car, train, plane, or boat.
Yeah,
I've worked for
exactly.
all of the travel options. But I know that, it can be intimidating, especially for new parents, to take that first big trip, whether it's a long car ride or, a plane ride, and having their kids be content and all of the things that they might need in a new place. So it's very helpful that you inspired by your own travel experiences with two kids, and that your brother is also so involved in this business as well with his own experiences.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so my brother's like the fun uncle.
Love it.
I'm the third of four, and he's the baby of the family. And, we have lots of nieces and nephews. And so he's the go-to babysitter too for my kids here in New York. We're so lucky to have him nearby. And yeah, no, it's a lot of kind of live and learn from traveling with babies and toddlers. And, we're very much in the thick of it still well, actually, both of my girls just had birthdays. So 3-year-old and a 1-year-old now. And there are different challenges at different ages when traveling. And I think the hardest is probably 1.5 to 2.5, when, they want to be mobile and move around, but they're not old enough yet to sit through a show on the airplane. And so, you're just entertaining them the whole time, and it's work. But I think that, the two things that help me the most are, one is preparing. So not leaving everything to the last minute, which is hard to do. And I often leave things to the last minute. And I think there's even some research around procrastination being good for efficiency. But I would say with preparing to travel, it's the opposite. You're just creating more stress for yourself if you're packing the morning of or doing things at the last minute. And so it's much less stressful to prepare ahead of time and start packing ahead of time. And then you can be more thoughtful about what you're bringing. And I find you end up weeding out what's unnecessary, and you pack lighter that way. And then the second is just getting in the right mindset and letting go a little bit. It's probably not going to be perfect. You'll probably forget something. It might be hard to settle the baby on the plane, or they'll have a hard time sleeping, wherever you are. And you just do your best, and you roll with it, and then try to get right back into things when you're back home. But I think it's just a mindset shift that traveling with kids is different than before. And it can still be really fun, and being in different environments is good for your baby and for you. So that's kind of the mindset that I try to keep.
I love it. And you mentioned the recovery bundles are very popular gifts that seasoned moms are giving friends. But what is your favorite bundle?
Oh, that's a good question. That's tough. Probably the baby health bundle.
Okay.
And so the baby health bundle, there's a whole lot in this of, again, things that you will actually use. And it all comes in this really neat, organized medicine box that also looks cute. And this covers kind of all the major topics of baby health issues and even toddler issues that you might face. So fever and pain, colds and congestion, rashes and skin issues that you might come across. So there's all these little things, from the thermometer and Tylenol and the saline drops and spray for congestion, and nasal aspirator, and the nail clipper and file, and
I love it.
The vitamin D drops, which is something that a lot of moms just don't even know exists, or is something that you give your baby at the beginning, because when you're at the hospital, maybe they tell you about the vitamin D drops, but there's so many things going on that maybe you even forget about it. And so we have all of these things in the bundle, so you have it when you get home, and you have everything in one spot. And then you have this guidance book alongside on what everything's for and how you use it, and all these cheat sheets that I mentioned. And it keeps everything organized. And so in the middle of the night, when your baby spikes a fever or you need something, you're not running out to the store to get it or waiting a couple days for an Amazon order to come. You already have it all in one spot, and it's all things that you will use. It's really meant to be practical and useful. And so I think that's probably my favorite one.
I love it. And so many grandparents are now caregivers. So it would be great to have something at their place if they're watching toddlers, babies over there. So they have a full kit of everything they might need.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. And even with these cheat sheets, there's quick reference on the how much Tylenol or acetaminophen to give your baby at different weights and sizes, which you forget, like you don't necessarily know offhand. So that's a great reference. You're right, to even the caregivers or the grandparents to have on hand too. Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. So I could talk to you forever, Genevieve, but we're running out of time. Any final tips for our listeners?
Yeah, no, I've loved this conversation. So, the final tips, maybe it's similar to what I said before around traveling, applies to everything. Just, let go a little and roll with it. And I think that there's a lot to say around being prepared, and that can ease stress, but there's a lot that you can't prepare for, or you don't know until you go through it. And so I do think, we sometimes as new moms, especially our generation, kind of wants everything to be perfect. And so I think letting go a little bit is probably my tip.
Beautiful. So how can our listeners and doulas in the Gold Coast team find you?
So you can find our marketplace for home cooking on mamieli.com, and that's spelled MAMIELI.com. Right now it's just New York, but if you're not in New York, you can go to the website and put in your zip code, and we're collecting zip codes from outside New York. And once we get a critical mass, that's how we'll kind of determine how we expand. So even if you're not in New York, feel free to put in your zip code, and we'll reach out to you when we're where you are.
All right. And then we'll put in Grand Rapids zip codes then and try to get our service in Michigan.
Perfect. And then our bundles anybody can buy them from anywhere. And you can find those also on mamieli.com and click right through, or you can go right to shopmamieli.com and you'll find all the bundles and all the cheat sheets and everything on there. And I believe we have a special discount too for your listeners, which we could put in the show notes. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Great. All right.
Thank you for that. And then you're on social media, so our listeners can also connect with you there.
Yep. On social, we are at Love Mamieli.
Love it. Well, thank you for sharing all of your amazing platforms. And I'm all about the bundles, and what a wonderful gift.
Thank you so much.
We will talk soon. Take care, Genevieve.
Talk soon. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Ask the Doulas. For more information about Gold Coast Doulas, visit us on our website, goldcoastdoulas.com. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Thank you. Remember, these moments are golden.